No clue what I'm doing with this thing. Oh, shit. Hello? I can't hear you. I can't see you. Oh, there you are. How's that?
All right. Yep. I can hear you just fine.
I'm just going to start off this video. You ever see the way a lot of people start their videos, like, you know, like totally intense, like Chris Farley style, like,
right.
I'm way too calm when I start my videos, but okay. So man, you slicking that hair. I like it. You look like a sensei. You look like the guy I want to learn fucking Aikido from.
I have Tabaquito for you this morning.
I like that. Oh, that's the name of a cigar, dude. Come on.
It's probably a Viaje cigar, though.
Probably.
Maybe.
Well
Actually,
thought out.
No, probably not.
Well thought out. Oh, don't back out now. So, let's see some of these comments. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Morning. Hello from Dubai. What's up, Hamad? Back in Dubai.
They can already see us and all this?
Yeah.
Oh, we're just in the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I guess I should tell people that, huh?
Yeah, it's all good.
What's up with those rings? Let me see those rings.
One of these is one of ours, Room 101, and another one is a designer that I happen to very much like, the Great Frog. They're out of London. Nice. It's actually the only piece that I've bought from another designer in probably, I don't know, like 18 years.
When I lived in Manhattan, we talked about this.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's correct.
The guy was
Lazaro.
Lazaro, man, that guy is a nightmare. And then, but there was also this other guy that I never got to go see. He was down on the Lower East Side, right when the Lower East Side was like really starting to pop.
Right.
And he had a shop, all, you know, this style of. Is there a name for this style of?
You know, it's interesting. I mean, I've heard a lot of people refer to it as biker silver because it was first very popular amongst bikers and whatnot, like the big burly skull rings and all that. Yeah. But I don't really know, chunky silver, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
I know what they're talking about when they're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to call it now. Biker silver. That shit sounds cool as hell. So, what's going on behind you there? It looks like a beautiful view back there.
Yeah, man, this is just, this is our family's place up here in Washington. Mama Bear, I've always said that I got us a house and she makes it a home, right? Nice. So she gardens and brings us fresh vegetables for our meals. And this is some plantery, some foliage she's installed in our homestead to enhance. And then we have a little, view of the mountains behind us and whatnot.
Love that.
Yeah.
Having a view is priceless, man.
It's critical, man. It's
I've
critical. That was
a big view guy.
Me too. Huge. I need windows. I need view. It just doesn't feel right if you don't have it.
Right. Smoking the AJ Fernandez and Matt Booth test blend. Amazing. Cool.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I can't see any of the comments though, so you're gonna have to cue me.
You can't see them. Huh.
No.
Okay. Yeah. No. I'll let you know if there's some Youngstown, Ohio represent. Rodney, what up? Okay, so Okay, so you've had, and just follow me here. You've had what we're calling, or potentially going to call, a death bucket 2 in your back pocket here quite a while now.
Is
that true?
You could hypothetically say that. Yes.
Okay.
Potentially.
So, like, what can we do to just make that a reality?
Oh, you have it.
I lost you. I lost you. There, you're back. You're back.
Unbelievable.
You're
Better?
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody tried to call my phone. Sorry.
That sucks. That's okay. So what can we do to make this a reality? Like, I know we talked about like what a band would look like, sort of, but like what can we do to make this a reality? What are the cigar? Can you give us a description of like what you thought of for part 2? What kind of cigar it would be, where it would come from, that kind of thing?
Well, being that the first was out of the DR, and it was not an intrinsically Dominican cigar in personality. It was still
No, it wasn't.
manufactured there. But my thought was that if we were going to do a duh or a do or a two or a second installation, that it should be something a bit more on the Nicaraguan side of town.
Nicaraguan side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
something a little bit more funky, a little bit more not potent, but not like potent in a sense where it's so strong it's out of balance. Just a different, just that end of the spectrum in terms of personality.
Well, so how did you? And again, you're not sure whether or not this is absolutely going to be the DB part 2, but is there a blend that you've been smoking that you're very interested in?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
May I ask where it comes from? It's okay if you don't want to share.
From the fine country of Nicaragua.
Okay. So that's it. You know what?
From a factory that we're partnering with at a greater level moving forward.
Listen, I used to think like when I would read some of the reviews when it was like, oh, mystery of where it comes from. But you know what, man? It's really, it's too easy in this industry to follow the intellectual property, and it's too tempting to get factories to make things similar. I mean, that's something that happens, I think, in this industry all the time. An owner of a brand smokes a cigar. Who made it? Let me look it up. Oh, let me call this guy. Hey, can you make me something like that?
Yeah, but I mean, there are no secrets. I mean, we'll be very proud to announce who we work with, on any project. And honestly, like the main differentiating factor here is that if a brand owner is authentically invested in the creative and development process at a factory level, their products are going to resonate in a different way with the consumer, with the end user, the ingester, right?
Sure.
So, yes, someone can make you something like something, any day of the week, but if you're invested in the process at that level, you're always going to be 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Got it.
Well, maybe 5.5 steps.
As long as you're a step ahead, you're good.
This math. Yeah, it's at least one.
I know we've kind of had this conversation before, and I feel like I've gotten different answers out of you. On one hand, what the Death Bucket was about meant absolutely nothing. And then on the other hand, or just meant that you liked fried chicken. And then on the other hand, it was something to do with commerciality. Something to do with over commercialization of things.
Yeah. I mean, as with anything in our brand, there are, our products are laden with a myriad of points significant to the product or just to things that are going on at the time, in our world, in my world, in our brand's world. When we sold our product into Nordstrom, our wearable product, I thought we were taking a huge step forward for our branded business, which we were in certain regards, and in other regards, we were commercializing on a different scale than we had before. I mean, we were a made-to-order atelier, so to speak. And after working with them for 5 years, I realized like there was something that was being quietly suffocated out of the back end of my one of my true passions, which is jewelry design. You know, I was designing within a box. It's just like, you know, the exact same thing occurs when I go and create a blend for you, you know, for one of our projects. You know, there's no holds barred, or
Yeah.
you know, something that I'm going to do is a hyper limited drop that you know, where there's no restrictions on, okay, I have to make sure I source or you know, compose something that's built of materials that I can source regularly, consistently, that I can source consistently, and that will remain consistent, right? Which are two different things. And if you're just saying, hey, I've made this fantastic blend, we have enough to make 1,500 cigars in this format, you know, there's zero restriction whatsoever. And that's what that's really a fueling exercise for me, always has been. My one of my business partners, Sammy Phillips, said you can't put a leash on a rattlesnake, and I happen to subscribe to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can't.
So
If that's really what, if that's really fueling, like that creative component, there's nothing
yeah,
else like it. You know,
I
and
want
so
to. I
very
just want.
similar to our custom product when I sit down to design a one of a kind.
Right. I
Anyways,
just
to
want.
button that up,
Sorry.
I felt that there was a death that had occurred from an attempt at commercialization. I think that
Okay.
that was one of a few meanings that I think is affixed to that, maybe even subconsciously.
Yeah. I think the one thing I wanted to
Oh, I think your
interject and
mic is
say,
off, man.
is it? Hello? Is it on? Nothing? Man. Can
Can you
anyone
hear
else
me though?
hear me? I can hear you.
Okay.
Ethan, you said we can hear you. So you
Can you
guys can
hear
hear.
if I hum the melody of the Final Countdown by Europe, of the finest musical compositions of all time?
You can't hear me at
Da
all,
da
Matt,
da
huh?
da da. Oh no. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Check
Da da
your
da.
earbuds. Can you hear me? I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. You're just on my little
Okay.
microphone now. I
All
guess it was
right,
my.
great.
I guess it was my.
Yeah, my battery might have
Sorry.
died.
That was
No,
me.
it's all good. Okay, so one of the things that I was trying to say was that it's funny too because I kept trying to interject and I'm like, he is just not going to let me get this in, and you
Oh, I'm
totally
sorry,
didn't hear
man.
me.
I didn't.
No, it's not. I was like, okay, that's that. He's owning this part of the conversation. He would like to get out his thoughts on the matter,
Dominated.
and right, and it's his reply to do that with. So the one thing that I was trying to interject is that you are, and see, a lot of cigar guys are like, I don't get it, blah, 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 you can't do this. You are one of the few artists in this industry. Okay.
Wow.
Well, it's true. I think a lot of brand owners, and it's not saying that they make a lesser product, but they are in a business and it's strictly business, and it's just if it makes dollars and cents, it's a go. With you, it's working with an artist, man. And I think that's why you've had all these great successes with certain cigars. You know, it's very easy when someone has a brand of 5 different lines and like it's easy to say, oh, I like the this or I like the that. But for a guy like you that's been all over the world and made several dozens of limited editions and exclusives and like I can point at certain ones of those and be like, holy shit, that was amazing. And you didn't try to, you know, keep pushing that thing. You know what I mean? You moved on to the next thing because artists are always looking for that next thing, you know?
And I think that people that are attracted to our product, it's very funny. You know, I've always, you know, it's been this during the rebuild of our brand, you know, our brand's footprint in the U.S. You know, we have a couple offerings that we call our core, right? And every one of our fans, newcomers to the fold and people that have been around, all seek products like
you sell.
Yeah.
Super limited. They want, you know, and I think maybe that could dovetail back into what I was saying earlier about creating with no restriction. And, you know, if that actually bleeds through in the final product, even subconsciously at a consumer level, you know, I think that's a tastier morsel for them, so to speak. And so they're constantly hunting for our limited drops.
I think I talk to a lot of sales reps, and people aren't brand loyal anymore. Millennials aren't brand loyal. People aren't brand, and I'm like, no, you're wrong. We are brand loyal. We just want new stuff all the time. I don't, you know, if it's all Room 101, great. If it's all something else, great. But we want different things. We want to try new stuff. We're looking for new experiences, you know?
Right.
So
agreed.
I guess that's why Privada kind of works.
Yeah, no, I think the whole Privada concept, I mean, you know, I've been a fan from the jump, but I mean, I think that the Privada concept at this time, in terms of the way people are consuming, seeking out these products of limited availability, I mean, that's what your house is built on, you know. So, you know, you're giving the people what they want, so to speak.
And I also like to believe that it's really good for folks like you, because I feel like, especially as we're growing, that I can give you an outlet to not have to worry about where the cigars are going to be distributed. It comes to one place, gives you total freedom of mind to go out and create something that you can make in a limited run and give it to one source where I can distribute it, you know, amongst everyone.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I really like about the club. You know, this isn't supposed to be about the club, but it's just, I feel like one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this is it's like mutually beneficial for the manufacturer, for the consumer, for me. Everyone leaves really happy, you know? And so that's that. I think that's a key to a good situation, right? Everyone leaves happy.
Of course, man. Look, man, a one-way street is good for one ride, man.
Right.
I mean, you have to have something where everybody's, you know, all cylinders are firing. You know, if everybody wins, that's the, you know, that's the stuff of longevity right there.
Right. Yeah. Tell me something new.
Fantastic in that fucking hat.
Thank you very much. I shaved today.
You look very
young.
crisp.
Yeah.
If I was a hater, I would be envious. But I am not. I'm going to say I admire.
Well, if I had your hair, I don't know if I'd wear hats though. that's its necessity, you know. So tell me about what you liked about the original Death Bucket. And I know it was something that kind of got shelved because of potential legal issues or whatever, just issues of some sort. It kind of got shelved, and that's why we had an aged product. Like, did you not think people were going to like it? Tell me a little bit about it.
You know, man, cigars are forever going to be something I desperately love, and also something that's very funny to me. You know, and you know, there were, like I said, in terms of the significance of that product, you know, or at least the branding of that product, there were a lot of things going on just at the time with our brand, with the business, etc. You know, one of the things I was trying to do was offer products that looked grown up. You know, the new version of Room 101, the grown and sexy, the sophisticated, this is what we do now. This is the Room 101 of, you know, 2018, 2019, and beyond. You know? And the Farce collection specifically is the example of what that looks like. You know, it's a cohesive group of products that demand your attention on the shelf, and there's a sophistication to the design, but at the same time, it's louder than pedestrian, right? It's not. You know, it sticks out on the shelf because it deserves your attention. It commands your attention, right? And so as that is the direction that I was trying to take the brand, I was like, you know, the bucket of chicken was always something that I wanted to do. Like
you did it. You did it before.
Well, it was an Easter egg inside a
I got that one. Yeah, that was when I first heard about you because of that. Was that on the Honduras, the HN?
It was on the HN, on the Honduran blend.
Yeah,
that we really
great.
like.
Still a great cigar to this day, by the way.
It's a cruiser, man. Beautiful cigar, Honduran Criollo. Just super easy, does it, and good personality. But I put a bucket of chicken in there as an Easter egg, and I can't tell you how many people hit me up like, "What the fuck is this bucket of chicken about?" I'm like, why are you so concerned about it? Just smoke the cigar.
Right.
Let me have my fun.
Right.
And smoke the cigar.
Love that.
Know? So, but I had always wanted to do something a bit more grand with that concept, and so I had created a more developed graphic for it. I had gone through the steps of having some bands made, and I had a product that I felt was suitable for that project, just as a fun fun limited drop. And I was like, man, I'm making all this effort to come with a more grown and developed approach to our product's representation. It's dressing, it's trade dress, and now I'm going to drop the bucket of chicken. I don't know. I was conflicted. I rarely am.
I get it.
I should have just, but I was conflicted.
No, it's a good thing you didn't.
Well, and
good for us.
And what's interesting is the amount of interest and dust that's been kicked up by that product is in line with some of the most sought after limited edition drops that we've ever made in the history of our company.
Right.
It's been very interesting to watch the life of that product, or the life that product took on of its own, solely
Incredible.
through, again, the channel that's your club, of course. But I mean, I don't know that I've seen another one of our cigars floating around Al Gore's internet at such a velocity as the Death Bucket, as some people call it. Sorry.
You've been purged. You there?
What happened? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think you just clicked off your. There you go.
I was trying to pause a text message. It was close. I'm very technologically challenged. I do other things really well, I think. But...
very well. Listen, we all have our strengths. You did miss an epic purge, though. This purge was like a flamethrower right now. It's like fucking. I've been purging cigars a little bit here and there. I don't do it on cigars that I'm like in love with. I do it on cigars that are like a daily smoke, maybe a farm rolled cigar, something that I'm just smoking to enjoy a cigar. I'll do it on just to see how it like refreshes it, kind of thing.
Understood.
So here's the question that I have. I'm hearing a lot of.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too, bro.
Let's see. Namaste.
Oh.
It's every time I speak. So I'm going to ask a question and then I'll let you go. I'll let you run with it. So you started out with some of what, in my opinion, is the best tobacco in the world, Honduran tobacco. Okay. That was like your base, basically, from what you had to choose from. Going to the Dominican Republic, how much of a challenge was that to get some of the flavors that you look for in a cigar out of DR?
Well, it was actually a very interesting experience. I worked with Henderson Ventura there, who was brilliant in his own right. And a great deal of the tobaccos that we use in the cigars that we manufacture in their studio are not domestic tobaccos. Farce Maduro has 0 Dominican components in it whatsoever.
Wow.
So So very easy. Well, I won't say easy. I mean, it's all work, but I mean, it wasn't this tremendous challenge, and I do leverage some of their domestic materials in our blends when suitable. And when they don't overtake, the personality of the cigar with what I think is more of a, a stereotypical kind of green tinge, or what I refer to as aluminum, which is not what anyone else refers to it as, but it's.
I find it to be I find it to be pencil wood.
There you go. Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. It's just it's whatever however your mind describes what's on your palate.
Is that Visa?
It has to do a lot. It's across the board. It has to do a lot with the mineral content in their soil, the tobaccos that they're growing there, how they cure them, and then also how they marry with one another. It's all of it.
What in your opinion is the best puro tobacco? If you can only go to one country and only use their tobacco for your preference and your taste, what is that country?
But now let me clarify this. You're talking about use any tobacco, like any variety of tobacco just grown and sourced from one country.
Yes, exactly. That is correct. 100%.
I'd say Nicaragua, personally, from what I've built in all three countries with the factories I work with, I'd say Nicaragua. It's a toss-up though, man, because I very much like a lot of the stuff in Honduras too.
How is Honduran tobacco? How is it so different from Nicaragua when you could basically walk across the border?
My dear friend, if you had a small dirt road through a field of the exact same strain of tobacco, on each side of that small dirt. Wait, are my hands in the screen? Where are my hands? My hands. Right
yeah, you're there.
On both sides of this small road, the tobacco that field produces would be completely different from one another. Same strain, same date planted, same fertilization schedule, all of it. So the fact that you could walk across if 10 feet apart can change things, and that's what's so beautifully delicate about tobacco in general. I could go on.
We're getting this terrible feedback when I talk.
Is there a way to redo it?
Not without. Maybe I can leave the studio, but it might end the broadcast.
I see.
I
do not have the answer to this.
Okay, it's still there, and the headphones didn't help or hurt, so I'm going to put them back in. So, leads me to my next question, which is, what do you know about Peruvian tobacco?
It's funny you asked me that, man. Like, I just was talking to somebody else about this the other day. This has been, and maybe you and I talked about it as well at one point. I've talked to Henderson about some Peruvian stock several times. I'm interested to play around with it. I haven't had any experience with it as of yet, directly, but it's been something that's been living in the back of my mind in terms of something I'm interested to tinker with. So I met a guy in the industry who is he's an amazing blender as well. He has friends that own the biggest, I think, tobacco producer in Peru. Okay. And he was talking to, who's the guy that did like the 15-minute documentary on, he's Cuban, farms in Cuba, but he has a brand here, Robina. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So he was talking to him. Yeah. Wow. And Robina is in love with this, or apparently, whatever, what's the word for that? Apparently, supposedly in love with this theory that all tobacco comes from the Peruvian, Incan, Mayan kind of, like that's the original source. And he's claiming that there's some guy, I can't find out who this is, that is trying to basically replicate how those seeds would have made the trip, like through the Amazonian River into the Caribbean Ocean, and then gone to islands from there. And so we have this one cigar in stock called Inca. Have you ever heard of it? No. It's the only Peruvian puro on the market, and it's interesting. It's not bad.
But I don't think Peruvian tobacco alone makes a great cigar. I think it's a great component in a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of cigars that I get where they're like, hey, there's a little Peruvian in there. They're usually cigars that I like. It adds a nice floral kind of situation to it. And what do you know about people importing Cuban tobacco into other countries? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that. Never heard of such a thing. Strange.
Okay, so it's
so
out there. It is something that's happened.
There's so many mysteries in our business that I am not yet privy to. I am still young in this business, Brian. You have to remember, far more experienced people that are my senior. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I look at that like this. I look at that like craft beer. Like that's like a guy from a craft beer, you know, brewery that makes epic fucking. I've used that word 3 times today. I'm not bringing the word epic back, but that makes really great, you know, craft beer. Saying like the master brewer at Budweiser is, you know, I feel like it's a new day, man, and I feel like you and a few other people brought on that new day back in like the 2010 range. Somewhere in there. It started, I think, before that, but kind of really popped off around then.
Well, look, man, I mean, yeah, I mean, that was, you know, around that time, we were unknowingly developing an entirely new segment of this market. You know, I'm very proud that I was able to participate in that. You don't often get the opportunity to shine like that. But at the same time, all of those people's products were very different from one another. You know, they were a cast of characters, and their cigars were reflective of their personal character.
Aha, I see.
I think.
No, I think you're right. You know, some of those older brands are completely distinct from one another. You are definitely correct about that. And there's I'm not saying anything against those, but I feel like you were part of the ushering in of the next, you know, wave, which is where we come in, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, had Pete Johnson not done what he did, I would have not had a platform set for me to launch from, and had I not done what I did, so on and so forth down the road. There are people that are in the business that you could daisy chain back to even before those brands' existence, you know?
Dion Giolito.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know,
so,
it's the evolution of branding in our business. I mean, a lot of things that we were doing back at that time have been leveraged time and time again, to where many of the, you know, the manners that the way that I lay out graphics, the way that I stylize my initial graphics, have become industry standard in some regard. You know, and I can say that in the same breath, I would say that about Jonathan Drew's products, about Pete Johnson's products. You know,
hell yeah.
And I could go down the list. You know, nobody put a bucket of chicken on a cigar, though.
Yeah, totally. And it looks great.
Yeah, it's cool.
What are your 2 or 3 most hyped projects that you've worked on to date?
Hyped.
Yeah, like it just got away from you. Like, holy shit, look at this.
The real and original Osak that we made 30,000 cigars of. It was referred to by a peer in the business as the Opus X of the boutique cigar world. You know,
my favorite cigar to this day. Now, the original had a 212, which is my area code, on the thing.
So that was a limited drop exclusively for Cigar Inn. And it was the same blend that we had made for them in a limited production and round presentation. Some in round presentation, others were still the Perfecto format. So that's even the limited.
That's awesome. Similar band, similar art.
Oh yeah, really cool. We just added the 212 to it.
Love that. High Desert Man, my brother, wants to know if you're going to Cigar Fest in October.
If Cigar Fest occurs, then yes, I will be there.
You will be there.
If they have it.
Okay.
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, the whole world seems to be canceling, you know.
Cancel nation. What is this? Cancel wait, cancel I forget what they call it. Like cancel, we're the cancel culture. There it is. Cancel culture.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everybody, you know, rescheduled. If they had events in the beginning of the year, they, you know, with best intention, I think rescheduled into September, October. But everybody that had events in September, October had already canceled their events. So like that math doesn't make sense to me, you know. But we'll see what happens. It's always a good time.
I think you should travel less often.
I think so as well. You and I are in agreement. But look, this is part of our long-term plan for Room 101 in the tobacco space, right? It's you know, we're discovering ways to pilot the business that don't require the traditional methods that used to be without a doubt critical to bring a product to market. You know, I mean, nothing will ever replace the human handshake, in my opinion. But there are far more effective ways to distribute a product in, you know, in any space, let alone this one. And I think that some of that. I was probably the brand owner that was the most in market physically over the last few years, or one of the most traveled brand owners, I think.
Sure.
That's a
I
fair
could see
statement.
that.
I don't think that's overstepping. I mean, I don't want to spread misinformation, but I feel like that's valid. You know, when you're on a plane every week, you know.
I couldn't do it.
Well, look, man, I mean, it starts to become less and less effective too, because you're constantly running to the next trip, and you're trying to do the right thing by everyone, right? You're trying to show up, you're trying to show proper respect, sit down and have those critical moments with people that either do support you or potentially could support you. You know, so that's, I mean, the spirit is always, you know, and all that was coming from that place, you know.
Right.
I just think there are ways to communicate and connect with people that don't require, you know, being on a plane every week, man.
Fair enough. So let's say you're on a trip somewhere and you're in a generic cigar situation. It's like the standard old style B&M that hasn't changed. They haven't had new products in forever. Or you're at like one of those kiosks where it's all at, you know, the major, you know, kind of mass produced brands. What cigar do you reach for in that situation?
Padron 64.
Okay, say they have no Padron.
I leave. You don't have Padrones here? I'm out.
What about my father? I think my father makes a great stick.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I pick up. I was just funning about.
Do you ever smoke?
No,
do you ever?
Or AJ.
Do you ever smoke a Patel? Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I've smoked them.
I've had good experience with some of those.
One of my favorites that I've had of theirs, and I haven't had a lot, but it was called like the double or triple Ligero, I think is what it was called. The band was longer down the cigar.
Super Ligero.
I enjoyed. Okay, Super Ligero. Okay, cool. So I actually enjoyed that cigar very much. I don't think they make it anymore. A lot of the stuff that's outside of the direct wheelhouse, you know, like I'm constantly smoking, but constantly smoking to monitor our production, you know. So if I come into contact with another cigar, it's typically because someone gave it to me, you know, or a store owner wanted to trade me so I could experience this new cigar, you know, which is always cool. That's one of the things I love about our business, you know.
Yeah. We actually have Alec Bradley watching, and they love you, they said. And I feel like they've done a really good job of being a large commercial brand that actually has some, you know, craft-like attraction and some limited run stuff. And I also smoked recently I put it in the shop because it was so good. Their Magic Toast. I don't know if you've had that. That's Honduran too, actually.
I have not had the pleasure. I happen to love the Rubens deeply and desperately. Alec and Bradley, I've known since they were much younger. I guess you could say kids, actually, which is kind of crazy.
That's cool.
Their dad, from the gate, has always, to me, been a gentleman and a friend and a mentor, all wrapped up into one.
Nice.
The one thing that's confusing about Alan for me is that I love the dude so much, and I can't figure out if he's a father figure or a brother. He's kind of both.
That's how my dad is.
He's kind of both, to me at least, But he's been a source of a lot of inspiration and guidance over the years.
Got it. Is there anything that you want to talk about that I haven't asked you about?
I think if anyone's watching, you should go into your local brick and mortar retail store and ask for our brand. And if they don't carry it, you should turn around and leave.
That's cool.
Go full gorilla. If they don't carry our brand, they don't care about your well-being, and you should get the fuck out of that store. So I challenge everyone watching to perpetrate this act against your local cigar shop. You never know.
The LCA, and they need to be a member of the LCA too.
Absolutely. And the LCA is going to be a source for a lot of forthcoming super hyper limited, super duper limited drops from Room 101. And I know several other phenomenal manufacturers.
I think the LCA is going to be. No, I think the LCA
going into the store.
No, not at all. I love it.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I think the LCA is going to be the. I feel like the Privada was the gunpowder, and the LCA is going to be like the ignition for that to really explode this culture that we're taking part in.
Bro, it's next level. You're realizing your culture that you have cultivated online in physical form with a footprint at retail. It's very interesting to watch what you've built.
Thank you.
I'm a fan.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you, and I appreciate you. And I mean, you're the first person that was like willingly like, yeah, I like the idea. I want to work with you. And I actually just got a notification of like the 2-year anniversary, I think, from the night I met you in person.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, it's you with the T Connecticut, little guy, short Robusto, and you're lighting it up. I got a picture of it. I'll send it to you later.
I remember that, man.
That was a great time.
I remember when you posted that because I was like, man, this dude knows how to use Instagram.
You know what I did after that? We left that gathering. And we went to a Back to the Future enchantment under the sea dance, up in the hills somewhere, up in the hills, like not in Beverly, like up in that part of in that part of LA. It's like above Glendale. I forget the name of it.
Oh yeah. Like above, like La Crescenta, up above.
It was in La Crescenta. It was in La Crescenta.
Yeah, it's very nice up there.
Very nice. And we went to this like school, and they like reenacted the enchantment under the sea dance, and I won a keychain.
School.
Yeah, it was like a school or church. It was in a gymnasium, dude. It was so
That's
cool.
Super cool, man.
I was
should have taken me, man.
I know. I didn't know you that well. I wanted to invite you to something like that.
Would you like to come to a dance?
We got pictures taken in front of the DeLorean and everything. It was awesome, man.
That's cool.
I want to redo that. All right, so I'm gonna let you go. I think I've picked your brain as much as I possibly can. I appreciate everything you're doing for this culture, and I appreciate everything that you've done for Privada. And let's just continue to do what we've been doing and getting these people the best cigars they can, possibly get their hands on.
We have an accord, and likewise, man. I mean, it ain't easy out there, and I appreciate your belief and support in me. And I think it's just very exciting and fueling to work in a situation where we build each other up. So that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I will say hashtag we are Privada, hashtag Room 101 Shadow Army. I like that. That's pretty cool. I love
We're
that.
doing some things.
Yeah, man. I'm into
Our
it.
shoulders are deep.
I'm into it.
You could enlist.
Huh?
You could enlist.
I am enlisted, I think.
Well, you
Well,
are enlisted.
I'm a following member or something. So
Well,
if
you
I need
must
to do
DM
more,
communicate to enlist.
okay,
properly.
I will DM them. 100%. I'm in.
Okay.
All right, guys. Take care, man.
Thank you.
Peace.
See you.
No, thank you.